I'm going to show you some kettlebell swings. Well, basically, I'm going to show you how to set up for a kettlebell swing so it's safe, effective, and you can get the results you're looking for. Now, before I go any further, I want to ask if you could be so nice enough to hit that subscribe button so you can get the latest and greatest videos. Looking for today. So what is a kettlebell? A kettlebell is basically a bell and a handle. For our purposes, I want to give you more information on the importance of knowing the kettlebell anatomy. So what do I mean by that? The bottom part of the kettlebell is important. This is the base. So when we are swinging, we want the base to face the wall. We don't want the base to be facing the ceiling or facing the floor, none of that stuff. So if the swing looks like this, like that, then your swing is off and we have to step back, either drop the weight so we can correct the form and be efficient with our movement. The next thing would be good for us to know would be the handles or the horns. So when we're holding the handles or the horns, I don't want you to, let's say, squeeze it. No squeezing. What you can do, you can grip it. There's a big difference. So that's as if, give you a little example. You have your wrist in front. I'm gripping my hand, as you can see, and this is squeezing. So I'm going to pretty much stop the blood flow. When we're holding the kettlebell, I want you to grip it, not squeeze it. And that's very important, so when you start to get really awesome at your basic swing, you can start doing transition and different movements. That's the best part about the kettlebell swings. We can move from movement to movement without stopping. And there's a little cardio aspect to it too, which makes it even better. All right, so let's begin. I'm smiling for a reason. It's been a while since I've done this, so I'm excited. So how does a kettlebell start, a kettlebell swing? Let's give you a visual without the bell, and I'll show you different angles. So where I don't want you to feel it, let's stop here, is your lower back. Anytime you're swinging the kettlebell, if you feel your lower back, then that's a big sign that something is off. And another thing I'm going to suggest is also to learn how to do a deadlift, because it's basically the same mechanics as the hip hinge. So I repeat that again. If you are jumping to the kettlebell swing without learning the mechanics or how to do a deadlift, a hip hinge, then you're missing a step. But let's say that you do know how to do hip hinges and deadlifts and things like that. So the kettlebell swings is just a natural progression. All right, so let's have a couple of let's take a couple of steps forward. So let's imagine you're on the football field and you are the center. You're the person that's going to be snapping the ball to the quarterback. When we set up for the kettlebell swing, I do not want, so this back to the analogy with the center. The center doesn't have the ball back here. You know, back here. The ball is in front. So when we're setting up for the kettlebell swing, because it's all about momentum and a pendulum and controlling it, we want the bell to be in front of us, not directly underneath, because we're not going to have enough force to pull this back. Once you understand that, we're going to set up from here. Notice my back is flat, not rounded. Once I'm in this position, I know that this bell pertains to football again. It's going to go behind me, and I'm going to hand it off to the QB. So that's where I want you to think. From this position, we want to bring it back to here, not to here. And then from here, we're going to hip thrust and stand up. I'm going to show you a different angle. So the bell, we want it to be in front, not underneath us. You may wonder, hey, what stance is going to be best for you? Maybe hip width apart, or maybe slightly wider than the hip. It's going to be what's most comfortable for you and allows you to maintain a flat back. So I'm in this position again. I'm ready to snap the ball to the QB. My back is flat, and I'm looking down. I'm not looking up. And believe it or not, even in this position, I can feel my hamstrings. So none of my weight is shifting forward. It's actually evenly distributed. My big toe, my little toe, and my heel. My weight is evenly distributed. Think of a tripod, your big toe, your little toe, and your heel. And that's where my weight, but my energy is going that way. So that's why I can feel my hamstrings already engaging. I draw in my navel, and then I'm going to pull this so to snap it back, and I'll show you. Small the roses, look down, back, and then here's a basic swing. At the peak of the swing, the bell, as I said earlier, should be facing the wall. What I showed you was more of a traditional swing, which is higher. There are variations where I can do a lower swing. I can even bring it up to here, and then up to here. Regardless of the swing, if it's a lower swing or up to here, you're going to hear my repetition. the bell, the base of the bell has to face, everyone say it together, the wall. If my swing is doing this or that, it is off and you are increasing the chances of hurting yourself. So let me show you a front view so you can see what I mean. And the awesome part about what I'm saying is once you master stopping the bell and making sure the base is facing the wall, you're opening up new doors so you can do a whole bunch of variations. That means you have control of the bell and the bell is not controlling you. I trademarked that. Not really. So here's the setup again. I'm about to snap the ball. My energy is going back here, but my weight's evenly distributed. And then from here, I smell the roses, I pull back, snap, and just swing, boom. Notice with the bell. And then at the peak of the swing, you notice how it stops. And how do we put it down? The same way we started. Oof. Sorry for my neighbors. I show you again from a side view. So you're like, hey Julio, thank you for showing me how to set up, but how do I return it back? I'll show you again. We put it back where we started. So let's start again. My navel's sucked in, I'm looking down. Core is engaged, my back is flat. And by the way, had a little thought. If you have any friends or family around, ask them to look at your back to see if it's flat. I don't want you to look in the mirror sideways and be like, am I flat? No, you want to feel it and go from there. So here I go again. Exhale on top, squeeze my butt on top, and then I can transition to a low swing, or even in the middle, and then still there. And how do I put it back? That was better. So that's a basic swing. And you may be asking, okay, so at the peak of the swing, what's actually happening with my body? You are standing at attention. At the peak of the swing, no one should be hyperextending. That's bad news bears. You should be able almost to lock out your knees almost, squeeze the arse, and here's something that a lot of people forget. At the peak of the swing, my shoulder blades, I'm actually pulling them down. At the peak of the swing, I'm pulling my shoulder blades down. That's important because if I'm not, I'm going to end up shrugging. We don't want to do that. So think about the body moving as one unit. At the peak of the swing, I squeeze my arse. If you feel yourself hyperextending, guess what? You probably are. And if you're in doubt, ask a friend or family to check for you. And even when I'm swinging, my weight's still distributed even in my feet. So I'm not shifting too much weight on the balls on my feet or my heels. I am transferring, but my feet never lift off the floor. Another little golden nugget. So how did I pick up these little golden nuggets and tips? I've been swinging kettlebells before it was popular. I'm getting old. Yeah, I'm pretty old. So you're like, hey man, thanks, I got the kettlebell swing. How many reps should I do? You should work up to 20 reps. If the kettlebell is really light, it's going to make it difficult to master the form. So let me backpedal. You don't want to start with a heavy kettlebell. Once you feel and you know that your swing is awesome, again, you have the awesome setup. From here, your back is flat. You're completing the swing. The base of the bell is facing the wall. You're not going too high or too low. Then you can start to incrementally go up in weight. Why? Because that's how you're going to get the benefits of the kettlebell. So hopefully you like this intro to the kettlebell. I'm going to be posting a couple of other videos for non-traditional equipment, including one of my newest favorite toys, the mace. I'm going to be combining those two exercises, these two equipments, in future videos. So what I'm saying is that post your comments. Don't forget to subscribe.